2018. What's up, YouTube? So I initially wasn't gonna make a 2018 video. I thought about it, and one of my favorite YouTubers, Cody Wanner, I'll link him below, he just vlogged for the entire year of 2018, and in one of his videos last week, he was like, if you haven't made a 2018 video, go make one. And I initially wasn't gonna make one because I've been struggling to find inspiration in making videos again. I think that I found something really, really good today. And I went back and looked at my 2017 reflection, and that kind of just got me initially inspired because it was just really interesting to read. I had a lot of really, really positive stuff in my 2017 reflection and in my 2017 video. If you guys haven't seen it, it's, you know, I'll link it in the description below, and I'll probably show some of it overlaid right here. A lot of it is like these really highlighted edits, and they're all these adventures that I went on, and it was just, you know, this really cool edit to this, one of my favorite songs. And I didn't want to do something like that this year because, you know, this year hasn't been a bunch of highlights for me. It's been a lot more than that. You know, there have been really, really wonderful times with my friends where I've gone on these really sweet adventures and learned a ton from it, but it's been so much more than just a hype edit. And, you know, I think you see a lot of that at the end of the year as you see people's my 2018 in a, you know, my 2018 video, and check this out, you know, and it's always just this really like picturesque, really beautiful shots, and a lot of people don't talk about the real things that they learned or what they went through. I wanted to do more of that this year, and because this year so much happened, and that's why I'm so happy that I got motivated and wanted to make this video, because I started thinking about it, and everything that's happened in 2018 has just been crazy. It's just absurd how much has happened. I'm just gonna start listing off some things. So a year ago, you know, this year I produced my first song using Logic Pro 10, and I started releasing like raps and poetry and stuff. And before, you know, 2017, I didn't even release any of that stuff. I never shared it with anybody. And this year I got the courage to share it and put it out there. In March of 2018, I made my YouTube channel official. As crazy as that is, like, I made a channel introduction in March and said, hey, this is what this channel is gonna be focused on. And it used to, you know, I used to say that it was music, adventure, nonsense. Those were the three things that I went off of. And I think my channel still focuses on music, adventure, nonsense, because I've explored music further. I still loved going on outdoor hiking adventures with my friends. And obviously I have a lot of humor and stupid videos. If you search through my stuff, you'll find them. And I've still kept that, but I've also, you know, I'm diving into this other area now where, you know, I took that off of my main screen. It used to, on my main YouTube page, it used to say Finley King, music, adventure, nonsense. And I took it off because I'm now pursuing, you know, a career in not only just like filmmaking, but I want to be a public influencer. And what that means is that, you know, when I go through experiences or things, I want to, you know, give people well-constructed ideas and ways to get through the same sort of experiences in their life. And, you know, a lot of those can be on a more basic level rather than a complex or specific level. And that's just something that I really want to do, because I think I have this ability to go through things and reflect on them really well. And that's why I felt kind of stupid initially for not wanting to make a 2018 video, because I was like, if I make this video, I'm gonna be able to see and look back at everything that's happened and make sense of it, essentially. Since March, since I started my YouTube channel, I've made about 200 videos on this channel. 200, you know, different expressions of my creativity. And I'm so psyched about that, because next year I have a better handle now on like what I'm doing, what I wanna do, and next year I get to pursue that direction even further, and I'm so excited for that, and I'm so excited to share that with you guys. Another thing that's happened this year, I changed my major. For 2 years at Oregon State, I go to Oregon State University, for those of you guys that don't know that, I was a biochemistry and biophysics major. One of the most like difficult majors at Oregon State. I took all of my physics with calculus series, I took all of my chemistry, the highest level math you can take here, besides like discrete math. I think it's discrete math, it's like all proofs and stuff. But anyway, I took all these, you know, prerequisites, and biology, physics, chemistry, math, and I took them for 2 years, and then I finally realized that it wasn't what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be a researcher, I didn't want to be a doctor, and all these old goals that I thought were what I wanted to do, you know, dissipated, and I realized what I wanted to do, that I wanted to be a filmmaker, I wanted to be a public influencer, I wanted to be someone who connected with large groups of people and helped them, you know, move through their life efficiently. And in order to do that, you know, I started making more videos. And since I've found that this year, you know, my life has taken a drastic change. And that's something I wanted to reflect on, because I think that it's really cool that I've figured out, you know, for the broad sense of what I wanted to do, what I want to do with my life. Another thing this year, I have a job for the first time in my life that I'm passionate about. I work for one of the colleges as a videographer, specifically the College of Earth, Ocean, Atmosphere, and Science here at Oregon State. And I get to produce films for them and like meet with researchers and talk to them about, you know, I get to keep my science background. I don't just like, I didn't completely abandon it. I can, you know, connect with scientists and researchers on their level and understand what they're saying, and then get to, you know, put on my creative gloves and make something that they like and I like. And it's one of the coolest things ever. And, you know, I may possibly go into a scientific communication field. You know, that's something that I haven't abandoned as an idea for a career path, because it's so interesting to me. I get to keep my, you know, my brain active and working in that like science mode, but also I'm still on the computer producing, keeping my creative gloves on, essentially. And it's really, really cool. On a more broad sense this year, I've created relationships with new people and I've strengthened old relationships. And I think that's something that is, you know, really important to reflect on as well. And, you know, another thing that I'm reading from something I wrote, another thing that I didn't include in there is like some old relationships have kind of dissolved a little bit as well. And it doesn't really mean that they're like terminated. It just means that there's people in my life that were really, really big in 2017, and I've seen us grow apart. And I think that's something that happens in life, is you get really close to people, and because you're both in sort of a similar sense right in your life, and then, you know, you start taking off in one direction and they take off in the other direction. And it doesn't mean that like you hate each other or that something bad necessarily happened. It's just people find their niche and they take off, you know, they go towards their niche and where they want to be. And you know, I'm not naming any names specifically, but like I've had a couple friends like that have sort of just slowly exited away from my life, and, you know, I still like contact them every now and then, just see how they're doing. And that's great, because, you know, people go on different paths, they all have different goals, and, you know, you gotta go for your goals. That's how you're gonna be happy in life, is pursuing those things that you want for a greater cause. And you can still keep those relationships and keep what you've gained from, you know, interacting with that friend in the past and everything that they taught you, and bring that with you to the future. And that's, you know, another part of growth. One of the biggest things that I've learned this year was seeing things from both sides, both light and dark. And, you know, a lot of you guys, you know that my mom passed away this year. She passed away October 4th. And since then, I mean, it's been a wild ride. I've, you know, went through just some crazy stuff, and stuff that I didn't think I would ever see my mind challenged in that way before. And it was just extremely, you know, in a sense of reflection, it's extremely eye-opening to me to see myself go through these changes and experience, you know, that level of struggle and that level of loss. And I taught myself, you know, in this time to focus on the light and the good in situations, and that there is always something good. You know, there's always something good present. When something bad happens and it just seems terrible and doesn't seem like you're going to come back from it, that there is always some good and some love and some happiness left. It's always there. And I just learned, you know, that when it gets dark, when the whole picture seems terrible, you can grab onto that, and you can grab onto it with your whole hand and move through the situation. And you can focus on the beautiful aspects of life, which, you know, for me are mostly centered around people, and people that I love and people that I care about. And, you know, lastly, one of the biggest things that I learned this year was how to not expect. And what I mean by that is that I think a lot of people in a lot of situations, they expect something when they go into a situation, when they go into a relationship with somebody, when they go into, you know, any sort of event, they go in with expectations of how something's going to go and how something's going to work itself out. And I've learned that, you know, it's good to have some expectation. It's good to have, you know, an idea of what might happen and kind of what you expect, but you really have to be careful, and you have to realize that your expectations aren't always going to be met. They're not always going to be met, and things aren't going to go the way that you think they are. And adjusting to that and realizing that makes you really, really powerful. When you realize that something isn't going to go this way that you've written it out in your head, and it's going to go and take a different path, you have just gained all the power in the world, because now you're not only set up for what you think is going to happen, but you're set up for all these 50 other, you know, paths that your life could take you, and that experience could take you. And I think that's it. I you know, I maybe have some other stuff in there. I was gonna talk about some like specific things that I did this year. Over the summer I climbed like 4 different mountains, which was really cool. I really enjoyed that. You know, this year I just started snowboarding for the first time, and that's been super fun. I've, you know, gained new relationships with new people, and I live in a house now with some of my best friends, and it just seems like life is constantly changing, and it's just throwing all this new stuff at me. And I've realized that when I'm resilient and I come back to my goal. There's been times this year where I've lost sight of, you know, what I want to do and what I want out of my life. And 2018 has been really big in that. It's been really big in the loss of sight. You know, thinking that my eyes are covered and I couldn't see what was in front of me and what was coming. And I think when you're, you know, really goal oriented and you focus on what you want and what you want out of your life and what you want to do, things kind of just come naturally after that. When you find the things that make you happy and you just exploit the heck out of them. And that's something, you know, I'm looking forward to 2019. It's just doing more of that, you know, doing more of that exploiting, you know, going and delving into those areas of creation and filmmaking that maybe I neglected a little bit more in 2018. I think in 2018 also, it was a really big year for experimentation for me. You know, like I said, I started my YouTube channel this year. I started it. I started and said, hey guys, this is what I'm doing. Like, you guys like this? And kind of get a sense of what people react to and what people enjoy listening to. And I think in 2019, I'm going to focus on not just producing what I want, but, you know, what other people are interested in as well, and try and give people the most of what I have to offer. Make the most of it, you know, while I'm here, while I'm on this earth. I want to give you guys as much as I can, and connect with the most amount of people and help the most amount of people. And the only way I can do that is by making the most of it and giving the most that I can and working as hard as I can. And yeah, I know that's really broad thing to end on, but I hope you guys, you know, had an excellent 2018. And, you know, if you're interested, you know, maybe you're not a filmmaker, maybe you're not someone who likes to talk in front of a camera or anything like that, and you don't have to. You know, I'll be honest, before I made this video, I sat in my room for like half an hour just talking out loud and writing down things that I learned this year and things that have changed me. And it was awesome. It felt so good to just get out all the stuff that I've went through and accomplished. And it really just kind of, it took a turn on my mind because I've been kind of down and out of it. And this sparked me out of it. I was like, wow, like look at everything that I've accomplished and everything I've gone through. And 2018 was just crazy, but it just seems like every year, the more you learn, the more your life improves, because you're getting closer and closer to who you are and who you want to be. So I strive for you guys, you know, just write it out. Write out what you did this year. Write it down on a piece of paper. Things you're proud of, things that you're not proud of, things that happened, things that didn't happen, and just reflect on it. It's really nice and kind of calming. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know this video was super long, but I wanted to get it out of here so I can start working on 2019. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.